Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. It's time for arguably the biggest game of the series so far. We are welcoming the Italian giants Juventus to Iceland, the Europa League game. What more needs to be said? Let's see if we can pull off a massive upset. Hi everyone, so after I saw you against Zagreb, we then bounced back and did manage to beat Vikinga 4-2. Who we were literally talking about in that episode being a bit of a bogey team for us. Before we followed that up with a 3-0 win over title rivals Stjarnan. Now, this is where the Europa League started, and you can see we conceded a 92nd minute goal to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, arguably, we didn't really deserve to get anything out of the game, but when you actually looked at, they had a 0.98 XG off 10 shots. So just under 0.1 XG per shot, it kind of shows that we did limit them quite well to very few sort of clear and obvious chances. They did hit the bar once, but Verschaeren also hit the post from the edge of the box. Hit the inside of the post, but he hit it with such power that basically it span back out and then ended up going out for a corner. Not a corner, a goal kick, sorry, but we shaded the possession quite comfortably, actually, really. Basically, the goal came from Vargas giving the ball away in the middle of the pitch. He tried to play it from here out to Tome, their left back, I think it was. Might have been Scally or it might have been Ulrich, dropping deep from wing, cut it out before they fed it to Chavanchara. And he scored. He hit a hard shot low towards Valsen's near post. Valsen managed to get a foot on it, but it pinged up and went into the top corner. And then we went to Turkey where we played Fenerbahce, and as you can see, When you look at their XG compared to ours, and if you bear in mind that is from Yazici missing a save penalty, so about 0.75, 0.8 of that, they had an XG of what 1.8. Ours was just over 2. We had chances to win this game. We hit the post again. We took the lead, and once again it was some late drama really, which saw Fenerbahce equalise in the 91st minute, which meant that from our first 2 Europa League games, I really felt like we arguably could quite conceivably have had 4 points, but as it is, we only have 1 going into today's game against Juve. We did win the league. I was obviously going to bring it back for this Stjarnan game for the league decider, but as it was, we actually ended up winning the league here when we played Selfoss. A slight caveat for these 4 games, so they fell in a 2-week spell. Also, really frustratingly, it happened to be when the international break was on. I mean, we were without 9 players. That included Valsen, our main goalkeeper. Obviously, we'd sold Bobovic, so we ended up playing Batsenal, a youth goalkeeper who came through a couple of years ago. We had no Hjorlofsson, we had no Johannesson, we had no Sigurdsson or Ragnarsson. So that's basically like our back line minus Pedersen and Sanyang. Sanyang missed the last game, I think it was. He went away with the Gambia. We also didn't have Kjartansson. We didn't have Vargas. He was actually injured in the end. We didn't have Isaacson. We didn't have Valdemarsen. We didn't have Schmidt. We were missing, like I said, 9 first-team players, basically. For this game against Stjarnan and Selfoss, we literally had 2 subs. 2 subs. And we still actually managed to win them all, apart from the Breda Blik game, which we drew 0-0. And again, as you can see, Sanyang, Gonzalez, Camacho. Oh yeah, Camacho was away for these last 2 games. We did have Ragnarsson, actually. But then, Bragason, Einarsson. Bragason ended up playing centre-half. Einarsson basically played every game. Tomashin and Verschaeren played a lot. So even though, Tomashin did want more game time, he's been happy with his game time, but he's got even more. Verschaeren is still playing loads. He ended up playing deep line playmaker at one point. But we just pushed him into sort of the central midfield strata rather than the deep line midfield strata. Amazing that we came out and we still managed to win the league after those last 4 games with such a scant squad. And Breda actually snuck up and overtook Stjarnan. Stjarnan had a horrendous run towards the end, winless in their last 4 games. Really, really sort of rough times for them at the end. But you know what? Who's bothered? Now, as for the dev centre, we have managed to extend the loans of Ravine, Gunnarsson. I think Gislason and Saeed have also extended as well. But we were unable to extend the loans of Barbet, Roberto, and Kerrison, I think, because their contracts are expiring for us this year. So we're not going to bother renewing them. We tried to renew Barbet's deal just so he had some backup at goalkeeper. until, because we can't sign anyone until February. But he wanted like ridiculous wages, and I'm trying to just be a little bit financially savvy this time round and bring in some maybe like another backup keeper or another starter keeper, but hopefully on slightly lower wages. Kerrison is wanted by Breda and Grindovic. Roberto's contract also expires. He's been a really good loan farm player for Stan, and he's not kicked the ball at all for us. But his contract's running out, and we're just going to let that run out and see where he ends up. Melstead, we did manage to extend, and we did manage to extend Hesdale Christopherson's. Kowalczyk had a decent season for That's purely AKUREYRI, but his contract expires with us. I was talking in Jake Cooper's Discord chat, the link for which you can find below. Really frustrating player, because mentally and physically he's brilliant, but technically he's terrible. So we're just going to let his contract expire, and he is wanted by 3 teams, including AKUREYRI, who he's had a good season with, so I'm sure he'll end up somewhere. Saeed had a reasonable season, 11 goals with Akranis. He did have a few injuries, but his development's come on nicely, and yeah, he's going to stay out on loan there and see if he can sort of really kick on, because he's been a bit hit and miss since he's come to Iceland. I kind of expected a little bit better from him, but yeah, I don't know if you just saw, for Sudan, 7 goals in 16 caps is pretty good going. Now, we actually got given 2.6 mil in the transfer budget, which we did then put into the scouting budget. So we've now managed to get worldwide scouting, basically. So we're hopefully going to start finding some other players from out and about. As you can see, we've got one coming in from scout report from someone in Inter Miami. So what does he look like? Looks decent, fairly high wages. Probably wouldn't want to come to us, to be honest with you. But yeah, we're looking to try and broaden our horizons now in scouting terms, to try and find some players who we can look to bring in to sort of really help bolster the squad going into next season. But as I said, we are welcoming the Giants of Juventus to Iceland today. Thankfully, we have got players back from international duty, so we can play our first team squad. We did have another bid for Gomes from someone in Brazil, but again, it was relative pennies, really. I really think we should be holding out to try and get a little bit more money for him. I am probably going to play Vasharin. I feel like I pronounce his name slightly different each time, because since he's actually come back from injury, he's not been brilliant, which is a shame, because obviously he wants to have his agreed playing time when he comes back from injury, but he's really not been up to scratch, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to have to put the interests of the team first, really, and play the player who ultimately is performing at a better level for us currently. So yeah, bit of a disappointment for him, but unfortunately we've got to put the needs of the team first right now. So Johannesson will come in, Ragnarsson will stay in, Sanyang I think will stay in. Where's Kjartansson? Kjartansson. Where's he? Raffin Kjartansson. Not in for Kamasio. In for Einarsson, and then Kamasio there. Einarsson I will probably put in just because he's a good option to have to bring off the bench. Actually, you know what? Maybe we won't. Maybe we will leave. No, we won't. We'll leave him out because we can play Bragason at anchor. Tome Vasharin, Valdemarsson, Schmidt, Vargas, Kjartansson, Ragnarsson, Kamasio, Hjorlofsson, and Sanyang. I think I'm happy with that. I don't think there's anyone else I would particularly look to put in that team over them. And then as for subs, we've got Johannesson, Sigurdsson, Isaacson, Magnusson, Trifonov, Schwarz, Tomasian, Christensen, Gonzalez, and Pedersen. And you know what? I'm just going to make a couple of slight adjustments. But I was chatting to my friend the other day about this and, about the Europa League and stuff. And I was saying that ultimately I've not really tried to deviate too much from my play style. I've kind of tried to just stick with it, really, and just get just keep the boys just playing how we want them to play. I don't want to risk any sort of breaks in fluidity or familiarity. Obviously, they've been used to playing this system in the league. I don't want to change too much and lose that. So we're going to stick with it and see how we get on against Juve today. Before we do get into the game, if you want to do us a massive favour, by the way, drop a like down below. As we look at the fact that Juve have lost their last 3 games, does that mean anything today? Probably not. They're probably thinking, this is a brilliant chance to get back on the horse and get a win. And you know what? They may well absolutely destroy us, but we are going to go down fighting. And as I said, realistically, this is the biggest game of the series so far, playing Juve. We've yet to play a side of this stature. They've still got a lot of their old guard. They've still got Vlahovic. They've still got, I think Chiesa was injured actually. They've still got Moretti. They still got Locatelli. They still got McKennie, who they're playing as a wing back, and they still got Bremer, and they've still got Gatti. Morale for Juve is pretty poor. Obviously, coming off that run of three losses. You never know. Dare we sniff an upset? From my point of view, though, a draw will be more than enough. Really, let's be honest. If we can get a draw against Juventus, you know, their resources against ours, their squad against ours, it'd be huge, absolutely huge. You know, that's ultimately got to be the aim, really. And you might say, well, if you're only bothered about a draw, why aren't you playing sort of park the bus football? We've already touched on that. I don't want the players to sort of have to try and adapt to a new play style just for a one-off game. I was going to say, I wonder if this will get reviewed. And it is going to get reviewed. And if it's going to be a penalty, I need to change the penalty takers because... Oh, no, it's Verschaeren. Verschaeren has been absolutely lethal with penalties. It's not been given as a penalty. But for a while, they kept giving it to Vargas, whose penalty taking is like 7. And to be fair, he has actually scored a couple. But when I first had a penalty, which he took, he missed. Well, it was saved, rather. But yeah, it's not a chance I wanted to risk. But anyway, yeah, you might think, well, you want to draw, play for one, but I don't really know how. You know, from... what I mean is, when I played defensive football before, it often ends up backfiring. So when we were beating Fenerbahce 1-0, we went defensive. Obviously, they then got a corner and scored from that. And they just kept swarming forward. They kept getting corner after corner. We were just inviting pressure on, playing defensively. And as soon as I reversed the lines back, we started just to get a little bit more of a foothold towards the end of the game. Just more to... keep them away from our half, to be honest with you. That was a very boring first half, very little in the way of highlights. But yeah, we just sort of managed to keep them at bay, just to hold on for the draw in the end. So that's kind of why I'm a little bit like, sometimes I just find defensive football doesn't always work, because you just invite the pressure on and just leave yourself open to conceding chances, and eventually you concede enough chances, one of them's going to go in. And this is the first sort of real highlight we've seen from Juve, and I would expect them to be a threat here. And the ref's going to look at this for a penalty. Apparently Bremer was shoved by Kjartansson. It's probably going to get given. I've never seen these not get given. What a surprise. And it's Vlahovic against Falston. I would expect Dusan to score this. Yeah. That's only his 5th goal of the season, and we're in like October, and he's like Juve's main striker. I would have expected him to have scored more. That's really disappointing that it's taken a corner and a foul from a corner and then a penalty for them to sort of break through. I'll be annoyed if that's the only goal of the game as well, and that's what we actually lose to. That will annoy me. Should be Verschaeren's, yeah. Verschaeren not having a great game. Neither's Valdemarsen. He's just sort of going into a cul-de-sac there, really. Vargas is tired. Yeah, like I said, he hasn't really just sort of come back from an injury, so he might not have the legs. Great turn from Tome. Poor touch from Sanyang, and it's going to lag for a minute, and then it's going to be Ragnarsson winning the ball, and it's going to come to Schmidt. Plays it to Vargas. Sanyang. Watch the line, guys. Watch the line. Schmidt also not having a brilliant game. Vargas. Valdemarsen. What was the point in that? Sort of header into the ground from like 18 yards. Are you stupid? Yeah, I'll have to take Vargas off for... You know what? I'm actually really tempted to do this. Where's Isaacson? I'm going to give Valdemarsen like a couple more minutes, and then we'll bring on Schwarz. Schmidt not having a great game. Tome not having a great game, but he has one as a corner, and it's a chance to do something. Verschaeren's going to take it. They brought on Chiesa for Vlahovic. Now we need to make sure he's being watched, because I don't particularly fancy him. getting any sort of space. Sharing with the cross, finds Billy, gets out jumped. Isaacson crosses. Keeper claims, good claim. You know what's annoying me about these crosses though? I have low crosses set and it just doesn't happen enough. Is this going to be another highlight for us or is it going to be for them? Probably going to be for them at this rate, isn't it? Win that. Thank you, Tomei. Nice. Nice. Just slightly took the sting out of it a little bit. But here's Ragnarsson into Isaacson. Oh, that's a lovely ball. Schmidt, attack the ball, man. Oh, my word. Attack that ball. What's wrong with you? He hits it wide. That was some really nice football, but I'm changing this. I feel like we just need one chance to go our way. They're gonna play out from the back. We're just gonna ramp everything up. In fact, we just need one sniff of something. Just a little bit more iron cast than that chance that we just had then with Valdemarson, where he just decided to try and turn and shoot from the edge of the box, and I think he forgot who he was for a minute then. And that is a change I might well make, is the Ragnarsson for Sigurdsson one as well that they've just suggested. Yes, Sanyang, well done. Nice pass. Good cross. Get in! Get in! It's the subs combining Trifonov and Tomashin, and it's a brilliant finish from Tomashin after a great cross from Trifonov. The low cross. That's why I keep telling you to do low crosses. We're not going to beat people in the air. We're not blessed with absolute giants or, like, Tim Cahill's. But it's a great fit. Oh, it did take a deflection, but I don't care. I wonder if he hadn't touched it, if it might have gone to Schwarz anyway. If it hadn't taken a deflection, it might have ended up at Schwarz's feet anyway. And if he was a bit onside, he would have scored. I kind of don't want to change anything because since I switched it to positive and made those changes, we have been playing a lot better. And you might think that's stupid because you're potentially going to leave yourself at risk. But why change when things are going well? Well, that was offside. He looked very offside. Whether he just timed his movement brilliantly, but he looked very offside. Great. He did look offside still, but what do I know? That's really annoying that we just switched off from a set piece. Really annoying that we just switched off from a set piece. Kamesho not having a great game. I'm guessing it was him maybe who gave away the pen and he's just headed it over as well. For someone with such good heading attributes, like, he should be such a better threat. He's got 17 jumping reach and heading of 16, and he's 6'5". Like, he should be smashing goals in. It's another corner. It's claimed by the keeper. This is going to be full time. That's a terrible pass. Thanks for blowing the whistle then, ref, just as we were attacking. Brilliant, thanks so much. Ah, that's infuriating. I actually have more shots than them as well. less possession, but we actually created more chances. Now, our next game in the Europa League is against Braga. We've just proposed a friendly against Haugesund to play in the meantime. And then we've got Sevilla, Celtic, and Anderlecht. So I think all being well, I'll bring it back for the Anderlecht or maybe or the Celtic game. But definitely for the Anderlecht match, unless we have anything sort of particularly spicy in the meantime. I have raised an issue with SI because it is showing, if we go into profile, it's showing that obviously we mentioned last time 2 titles for 2029 and 2 for 2030. And if you go to club info, it's saying we've got 6 instead of 4. So I've raised it in the SI forums as to why it's doubling that. If anyone's come across this before, do let me know. But I have sort of raised the issue basically. So hopefully that'll get fixed because I don't want it to be skewing the sort of stats for us and the team throughout the game. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed today's episode, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this little update and the game. We kind of showed that we can potentially mix it with the big boys. So I will see you all very, very soon. Take care and bye for now.